Hey y'all, it's your favorite premarital counselor, Candy J. We have been talking about affairs, right? And we've been talking about the common responses that unfaithful partners have, right? And you're like, I've had actually some people ask me, well, why do I care about how the cheater felt? Well, it's very it's a very important part of everything actually. If you're trying to work it out with your partner that cheated on you, that had the affair, then there are some things that you need to know about what they're going through and how you're going to navigate through all of this stuff. So the five common responses for the unfaithful partners to having this affair and working through all of this has been uncertainty, self disgust, um, grief and loss, partner pleasing, struggles with power and control. And so today I'm kind of just talking about the grief and loss. And the grief and loss is something that probably, if you have been cheated on, you don't want to hear, but it's something that you need to hear actually, and whether your partner actually confesses this to you or not, it's something that they actually do go through. And so again, if you are the person that cheated, a lot of times you're reluctant to confess this, but the loss of the affair partner is something that you grieve. It is a loss. It's like any other breakup, right? It should be treated similarly. Okay. um Especially if it was a deep, long affair, you definitely have to choose to grieve it in a different way. It's a damaged marriage, it's a damaged loss of a, I'm sorry, it's a damaged marriage that you're grieving, right? But then it's also the loss of that particular partner. And so you may not be ready to share this with the person that you cheated on, right? However, it also may be soothing and relaxing to talk to a trusted friend or to talk to a therapist, a counselor, a coach, any of those things, to kind of work through how you may be feeling. Um, I would also say that you may harbor some feelings of that grief and that loss, right? And it's not a good idea to bottle that inside, right? You want to you're kind of going through this emotional roller coaster already, right? With the one partner that you actually cheated on, but then when you are losing the other particular person that you are having the affair with, it's a whole different type of scenario, right? Because whatever you felt like you were missing in your marriage, right, or in that relationship, you went to this other person. And now you're detaching from that other person to try to work it out with this particular person, right? The marriage or the initial relationship, the main relationship. And now it's like, okay, I went over here because of this, and now I'm trying to work it out here when we should have been trying to work it out here, right? But it's still a loss over here, and it's valid, right? Not saying the cheating is valid, right? What I'm saying to you is the loss that you feel is valid, okay? And I know sometimes that thinking about this can shatter any part of you coming clean about how you're feeling to the other person, but it's definitely something that later on, when you kind of work out all of the details of if you're staying with this other person, that you can definitely share. Sometimes those conflicting and mixed feelings and emotions, you have to intentionally say goodbye to the other person. Now, at this point, if you're trying to work it out, you should have said goodbye to the other person already, right? But if you did not do it properly, like, and when I say properly, I mean actually talking it through. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and stay with my wife. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and stay with my husband, and I can no longer see you. However you would actually break up with a person is the way that you need to get that closure, right? And intentionally move through the grief and the loss process with that person. And you may need to even set a date, right? A date of starting over. And I don't mean a date with the other person, I mean a decision date. Like, this is the date boom, right here, that I am intentionally letting this person go, right? And then moving through the grief process, and going through all of the different stages of grief. And if you don't know what the different stages of grief is, I did make a video about that. We can definitely talk about that in a different live, and I can go through them again. First of all, for the person that has cheated and had the affair, I want you to acknowledge this. Have you acknowledged your loss? Something to think about. And if so, how did you acknowledge that loss? Um, did you actually set in motion and write down your feelings or thoughts or whatever it is, or take a voice memo, or just really process or verbalize to someone, okay, now, this is the way I've been feeling, right? And I know I'm losing this person, and they were fulfilling blah, A, B, C, D. Do I feel like that going back into this main situation that I want, can I get A, B, C, D? Can I talk to that other person about needing A, B, C, D, right? And you got to set a decision date, right? Number one, that decision date has to be, okay, I'm letting this other person completely go in my mind, in my heart, my spirit, physically, all of these things. But then that same decision date has to be, I'm letting that affair person go. And now I am restarting with my partner, my main partner, my married partner. If you're not married, then the person that you've been with, right? The main person in your relationship that you just cheated on, you're resetting. So here the two dates are the same. You are letting go completely, mind, body, spirit, physically, of this one person that you have the affair with, and you are resetting with your partner, your married partner, or the person that you've been with, right? So I didn't want to be before you long. I just wanted to give a few nuggets there because, again, we've been talking about the 5 common responses that unfaithful partners have, right? And grief and loss is definitely something that you want to dive into and work through because it's a normal feeling, okay? And if this is you or if this is somebody that you know, listen, share, like, ring that bell so that we can come back, or DM me if you know that this is you and you're needing help and you're needing to work through all of these feelings and emotion. And maybe your partner separated from you and now you're trying to figure out, do I fight for them or do I just work through what I just caused and what I went through and why I did it, there's many reasons why people cheat, and sometimes we have to pinpoint it to know how we cannot do that behavior again. So, again, my name is Candy J. I am your favorite certified clinical sexologist through the Dr. Rachel Institute and the American Colleges of Sexology. I specialize in putting the oohs and the ahs back into your relationship, and I do that by helping you to foster better communication. I specialize in premarital and marital counseling, sex therapy, of course, sex education for all ages, but especially those teenagers and young adults. And I am definitely a wedding officiant, a mocha marriage facilitator, and definitely a 7 principles of making marriage work Gottman leader. Guys, listen, come back, ring that bell so that you can get all of the mental health tips, relationship tips, and so much more. Have